first announced that I was going to start freelancing full time, some people I know suggested that I explore Upwork. And seeing that it's one of the biggest and well known freelancing sites, I originally thought that that made sense. I know that some freelancers on Upwork are able to build reviews and a business that really works for them. And honestly, I get why people go that route. But I looked into it and it wasn't for me. To get started, it seemed to me that I would have to lower my rates and really grind for visibility to make any headway on the site. And that's just not my thing. So I decided that I was going to try an alternative approach that really did work for me. It's helped me build a successful freelance business, having now worked with more than 30 corporate clients in the past 5 years. But the clients that built my business, the corporate contracts, the retainers, the projects that have actually changed my income into the multiple six-figure business that I've built have come from a completely different direction. So let me share the path that actually worked for me. For me, I started with agencies. My first real break came through basically staffing agencies that staff freelancers for roles just like I do. So rather than pitch directly to clients, I ended up working with recruiters from the agencies whose entire job it is to match talented freelancers like us with companies that go to them to staff and handle their freelance projects. Essentially, agencies already have the relationships. They have the trust of these corporate clients that inevitably you most likely would enjoy working with. Now, getting on their radar meant that I was getting in front of opportunities that I would have never found on my own at that stage in my career. Because of the agencies, I've been able to work with many Fortune 500 companies. I've learned a lot as a result, and now I have that credibility behind me to say that I've worked with organizations like Moody's, like Ernst & Young, like Microsoft, like Johnson & Johnson. And I can thank many of the agencies for a lot of those big name clients. But here's what no one tells you about working with agencies. The real payoff isn't just that first gig that you land. It's what happens when you consistently show up, deliver quality work, and then make the agency look good in front of their clients and make it easy for the project managers and the recruiters from the agency to work with you. When you do that, something shifts. You stop being someone that they found in a database and you start being someone that they think of for projects. I've had recruiters from some of these companies say to me, "Oh, I looked at this proposal and I immediately thought of you." Now, that's been great because I went from finding them and searching them out to them often searching me out, which is fabulous. So there's basically that turning point in the agency relationship that does change the dynamic. And it happens when you can stop being the one to reach out all the time because they are actually contacting you directly. Now, of course, this only happens when you've built a relationship as someone who's reliable and professional and easy to place. Agencies deal with a lot of freelancers, and these are a talented group of individuals for the most part. But it's hard to manage many of these projects. You want to make sure that you're working with someone who is not late on deadlines, who does not have inconsistent communication, or any sort of difficulty interacting with the clients. So when they know that you're someone that they can rely on, you become valuable to them because it takes a weight off of their shoulders. I've had agency contacts reach out to me for projects that I didn't know were available yet, simply because they knew I'd be a safe bet. And that sort of relationship doesn't come from reading my profile. It comes from a track record of successfully working with other clients. So if you want agencies to start calling you, I would say really focus on 3 things. Make sure that you deliver, that you meet or exceed expectations every time. Also, ensure that you communicate proactively. That makes both the client you're working with and the agency very happy. And ensure that the client experience is just overall smooth. I really feel from my experience that if you do that consistently, you're not just going to be in their system, you're going to be at the top of their go-to list when they do need someone. Now, of course, agencies generally do pay less than direct clients because they are taking a cut for acquiring the client and the behind-the-scenes work. But the stream of steady work that you can get working with an agency has made it make sense for me. It's something that you can try out and see how you like. Obviously, we all have different preferences and different goals. So see what works for you, but I do feel like it's a great starting point, and it's always nice to have that relationship available to you if you need it. Now, another thing that happens when you do start working with agencies is that once you get established and you do good work on several projects, then word of mouth is going to take over even beyond the walls of the agency. So for me, once that agency work started flowing, so did the referrals. When you deliver great work and you make the process smooth and professional, people talk, people share your name, they share their positive experience. So if someone loved working with you gets promoted, maybe they request you for the next project. Now, in this case, you don't have to pitch to these clients. You don't have to compete for them. They come to you because they know the reputation of your work. Now, one of the biggest initial surprises for me did pertain to a client who moved. And this happened when the contact moved to another company. Oftentimes when this happens, the person will bring their trusted vendors with them. So if you've done right by them in the past, you're likely on their short list for acquiring vendors at their new organization. After all, they want someone who's going to make them look good. So if they know that you're reliable, they're going to call on you. So I've actually had single relationships turn into multiple contracts across 3, 4 different companies over the years, simply because I stayed top of mind on certain people's radar and they knew that I would deliver. So they reached out to contact me. Actually, I am going to do a training at a new bank this week because the HR manager used to work at another bank where I did training. She knew me and was happy with my work at her previous employer, so she specifically requested that I go back, which is awesome. I love those types of opportunities. It's also a known quantity for me in some ways, even though it's a new organization. I basically know what the expectations are because I assume that they're similar to what they were when she worked at her previous employer. So, what you can take away from this is you don't need a platform to build a thriving client base. You need to be someone people remember, recommend, and come back to. That means doing exceptional work, yes, but it also means being professional, communicative, and genuinely just easy to work with every single time. The freelancers who build real sustainable income aren't always the ones with the most profile views. I feel like they're the ones who turned one good agency relationship into a steady stream of work for their future, and one happy client into 5 more clients. So your next big opportunity might already be sitting in someone's contact list. So make sure when your name comes up that the answer is always yes. I would love to work with them. Now, if you're ready to take that next step in your freelance business, head on over to the Freelance Shift on YouTube, and I will break down some strategies, tools, and mindset shifts that will help you to build a more profitable, sustainable business. It's something that I've had direct experience with. Now, there's one specific video that I'd like to direct you to now. It should show up down below in the comments, and that is building a freelance business clients want to return to. It goes perfectly with what we covered. I think it'll give you a little bit more information. So go check it out and let me know what you think. Take care, everyone. See you next time.